did 3 semesters of mechanical engineering, and then I fucking hated it. Like, absolutely fucking hated it. For anyone out there who's studying in university at the moment, like, don't spend 90% of your time studying.
Yeah.
You should be spending 80% of your time networking, meeting people.
And how much were they costing back then? So you would have bought that when you were, what, 26, right? 27? 27.
I think I bought that for, I think, 650,000, and I sold it for 910,000. The beauty about commercial property is that you can add value in so many more ways than residential.
Will Tong has over 23 years of experience in the property industry, specializing in commercial development and investment-grade properties, and has completed over 600 property transactions with combined value of over $3.5 billion for hundreds of investors.
What do you mean by work harder?
So I think, so back to what I was saying previously, like I was...
All right, we are live on episode 3 with our special guest, Will Tong. So, Will, I've known you for a while. You're excellent at what you do. But for those people out there listening who don't know who you are, you own Property Lions and you've been in real estate for pretty much what, the large majority of your life?
Yeah, 25 years almost.
25 years?
Yeah.
In real estate?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that. That's a long time. That's almost as long as I've been alive. But yeah, like, tell us your story. What was the story? What got you into the industry you're in? You're exceptional at what you do. We'll talk a little bit more about your accomplishments and results a little bit later. But what's the story? Who are you? Who's Will Tong?
Yeah, so I never wanted to be in real estate, to be honest. When I was in high school, I was really into sports and health and fitness. And, I was doing PDHPE for my HSC. Like that's
crazy.
That's crazy, right? Like,
And you went to selective school.
And I went to a selective school, right? So, and I'm Asian, and my parents are like, "What the fuck are you doing this for your HSC?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just love it. So, and the reason for that is, I always wanted to become a physio.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was in high school, it was just what I loved. I loved health. I loved fitness. I love how the human body works, like all of that. And I still love it right now. But unfortunately, I didn't get 95 for my HSC.
For physio?
Physio needed 95 at that time.
And that's what, UAC? Was it UAC?
That was TER.
Oh, TER.
TER.
Yeah. I've never even heard of that.
Never heard of that. No, my year was the last year. Top TER. And then after that, it was UAI.
And then, UAI. And then I had ATAR.
Yeah, ATAR.
I don't know if it's changed now, but
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Whatever it is.
Yeah, so I'm showing my age now.
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't get the marks that I wanted to do physio. I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. So I just kind of just going to uni and just did a Bachelor of Arts degree in accounting, and just went.
You said Bachelor of Arts?
Bachelor of Arts.
You went to do arts?
No. Bachelor of Arts doesn't mean performing arts or doesn't mean arts.
Okay.
It's just I don't know why they call it arts. It's
just
Bachelor of whatever the fuck you want to do.
Okay, fair enough.
No, seriously, like if you have a Bachelor of Arts degree, you could be in accounting or you can be in you could be in economics, you can be in like whatever you want, but you just don't get the fancy upgraded
the Bachelor of
Bachelor of
commerce or whatever. Yeah. Just the art student.
Yeah, that's right. But you can study exactly the same subjects as everyone else. Yeah. So I didn't do arts in the beginning.
Yeah.
I go into mechanical engineering.
Okay.
Yeah.
So still engineering, still Asian, super Asian.
Still Asian. It's kind of on the bottom of the the Asian chart.
Yeah.
That you're acceptable and not a reject.
Yeah.
So I did mechanical engineering for 3 semesters. And the reason why I chose engineering is because my dad was an engineer, electrical engineer. My brother was a computer science engineer. So I went, oh fuck, I should do engineering.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea what I wanted to do because I already had one path and I didn't know what else I should have done. So anyway, I did 3 semesters of mechanical engineering, and then I fucking hated it. Like, absolutely fucking hated it.
Yeah.
Like, I passed everything. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I was not into fluid dynamics.
Fluid dynamics.
Fluid dynamics. I was not into material science. I was not into fucking calculus and all that shit.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, I went, fuck. I just need to graduate.
Yeah.
All right. So I've ticked the box.
Yeah.
I've graduated.
Yeah.
And then I'll figure out later. So so after 3 semesters of engineering, I then switched into Bachelor of Arts because that's just the easiest way to just get through uni.
Yeah.
And then actually throughout uni, like I probably spent 80% of my time in social clubs. What I mean by that was I was a president of the Hong Kong Student Society.
Yep.
Yeah, in my third year of university.
Yeah.
So I probably spent more time organizing student events and all that type of stuff than I actually studied. So anyway, I graduated, and then I'm like, fuck, I don't want to be an accountant because that's just not my personality. I want to sit there in front of a computer, 40 hours a week, looking at someone else's money. And then my mum actually said, hey, why don't you try real estate? Because, you're good outgoing personality, And I said, oh, okay. So I got a job in real estate with no expectations.
How old were you?
I was 21.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. So I got a job in the city selling off-the-plan apartments. So at the time, Piedmont was getting redeveloped.
So how long ago was that? That's what, 21 years old, so 20 plus years. Early 2000s?
2001.
Oh, 2001.
Yeah.
Wow. So off the plan is still quite a new concept back then.
Kind of, but it was because it was off the back of the Sydney Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So massive development projects going on, huge.
That's right, and the Sydney property prices was picking back off the Olympics. And
So that was like the first kind of like boom that we remember in the modern kind of era, right?
I suppose so.
Yeah.
I suppose so. So I mean, that was a huge developmental period for Sydney.
Yeah.
So a lot of new apartments, a lot of new development. Obviously, like Newington, we know all about that. Olympic Park, we know all about that, and then all these different pockets. And Piedmont was getting developed.
Yeah.
Because the Star City it was called back then, just got built.
Yeah,
Just in
right.
time
The
for
casino, right?
The casino.
Wow. And look at it now. It's gone bankrupt.
Well, yeah, look at it now.
That's only lasted 25 years then.
Not a bad run.
Yeah, it's not a bad run. Not a bad run. All the embezzling and fraud and all tax evasion that's going through it. But yeah, I mean, no worries.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, long story short, that was my first job in real estate.
Yep.
I absolutely killed it.
Yep.
21-year-old, I was making over 100K. In my
Yeah, and
first year.
back in 2000, that was good money.
That was really good money for a 21-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Everyone else graduated on like 30K.
Yeah, 100%. Do you remember how many properties you sold that year?
I was averaging, I think, 2 or 3 a month.
Okay, not bad. So about
Yeah.
20 or 30 properties for the year.
Yeah, that's right. And back then, apartments were selling back
About like
then,
100K, right?
No, not that little. But in Piedmont, it was like between 5 to 700,000.
Okay, so still pretty pricey back then for like.
Yes. But those properties are now worth like 1.5. And
Yeah. They've all double, tripled at this stage.
Exactly. So, so I did that for about 18 months, selling residential off-the-plan apartments. And then I got a recruiter who called me and said, "Hey, look, would you like to get into commercial property?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to get into commercial property."
Did you know what commercial property was back then? Like the scope of it?
I did, only because my mentor at the time, he was a really wealthy guy. Like he had like $300 million worth of commercial property.
Okay.
So I knew what commercial property was about.
Was he from the same agency as you? Or was he like your boss or something? Or did you just kind of find him?
No, so I made videos about him.
Okay.
on my YouTube channel and
Yep.
type of stuff. But so he was part of another student association for City University. So he was an alumni
Oh, okay.
member.
Yeah.
He's probably like 15 years older than me.
Yep.
And because of the student society connection, that's how I met him. Yeah.
Wow, that's a case of uni actually pulling through with the networking. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's right. So, like, for anyone out there who's studying in university at the moment, like, don't spend 90% of your time studying.
Yeah.
You should be spending 80% of your time networking and meeting people, and 20% of your time studying and just pass.
Yeah.
Forget about getting
P's get
PhD.
degrees, we say, right? P's get degrees. Pastors get degrees.
Yeah,
That's
right.
the saying now.
That's right. Because you getting a high distinction in your degree doesn't mean you're going to make more money later on.
That's true. That doesn't even guarantee you'll get a job, to be honest, in this market.
That's right. So that's how I met my mentor, and then I was very close with him. We will catch up almost every week, and he would just teach me things about commercial property. So by the time I got the call from the recruiter, I was about 23, I think, at a time, 22 and a half, 23. Like, I already had a fairly decent sort of knowledge around commercial, but obviously I never had any hands-on experience with it.
Yeah.
So I understood what shopping centers were, I understood what warehouses were, I understood what offices were, I understand. And I wasn't a stranger to big numbers.
Yeah.
You know, because my mentor at the time was buying $20 million properties, you know, $30 million properties. And I think a lot of people, they get intimidated by
Big numbers.
Big numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at a very early sort of stage, I got very comfortable with it, you know, and then I realized it's just a number.
That's right.
Yeah. Whether it's 30,000, 300,000, 30 million, it's just a number.
Yeah.
The way you do the deal, the way you look at it, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Death is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I got called by the recruiter and I joined LJ Hooker Commercial in Parramatta.
Yeah. When was that?
2003.
2003. So about 2 years into your career?
About 2 years into my career.
Yep.
So I got a call and I worked under a guy called Terry Bennett. He's the best sales guy I've ever met.
Yeah,
up
really.
to this day. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. He's
Probably retired now, right?
Oh, he's retired now. He's
yeah.
in his 80s now.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. So I learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
And then 4 years later, I got tapped on the shoulder by Colliers International to join their team. So now I'm graduated from a franchise to an international global company.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's worked my way up. I made director when I was 31.
Yep.
So I was one of the youngest.
How long were you with Colliers before you got to director?
So I was at Colliers for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then I went to CBRE for a year.
Yeah.
Didn't work out at CBRE. And then I went over to JLL
Okay.
when I was 31.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was made director there.
And JLL is pretty huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Massive. Because I see their logos pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, the big four, JLL, CBRE, Colliers, Cushman & Wakefield, and maybe Knight Frank, if you...
Knight Frank, yeah.
Yeah, Knight Frank, maybe number 5.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my career.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of times working for the large corporate real estate agencies in leasing and in sales.
Yeah.
My last gig with the majors was with Cushman & Wakefield.
Yeah.
So I was senior director there, and I was heading up their Parramatta office.
Right.
Yeah, as their MD there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was short-lived because at the time, Cushman & Wakefield got bought out by DTZ.
Mm-hmm.
This is back in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, 2015. And then, with all mergers and acquisitions, they just started getting rid of all the,
the cut.
The high-level, staff there. And I was next on the list.
Yeah.
And I went, fuck it, I'll get out of there.
Yeah.
Took a little bit of career break and then joined LJ Hooker Commercial again.
Yeah.
And I was there for about 4.5 years.
Yep.
And I decided it's time to do my own thing.
So that was probably around your mid-30s, right? And then you kind of pulled.
I was 36.
Yeah.
And then when I was 40, I started my own thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That's 4.5 years ago.
5 years ago almost. Yeah, that's crazy.
5 now.
There you go. And you just had your birthday and just got your new Rolex as well, which is fantastic. We saw the YouTube video.
Thank you for wearing it today.
Yeah, I know. It looks great. It looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Wow. That's what a journey, right? So you're probably in a corporate position in real estate, as in like you're working under someone else, or working for another firm for about 15 odd years. 40 you started, so about
almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years. That's right. Almost 20 years. 21 to 40, 19 years.
Basically.
19 years. Wow. When did you buy your first property?
I was 23.
Okay, nice. When did you buy your first commercial property?
When I was 27.
Okay, wow, 4 years. 4 years. And was that like property number 4, property number 5? When did you actually make the switch to buy a commercial?
Oh, gosh, I far out. I don't know. It could have been probably 6 or 7.
Probably 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think it could have been. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was heavy in resi in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you, so this will be very interesting, right? Because real estate's always a hot topic. What made you switch from resi out to commercial at property number 6 or 7?
So I think, I followed a typical investor journey.
Yeah.
So, and I always say that investors have kind of 3 stages.
Okay.
Property investors.
Yeah.
All right. So you start off with a single residential dwelling, whether it's a unit or a house. You buy it, you hold it, you wait for the uplift, and then you refinance and you go again.
Yeah. And this would be either, do you hold this as a owner occ or do you hold it as an investment property? How does that work?
So I'm talking about it from an investor's perspective.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't include the owner occ scenario.
Yep.
So typically that's what people do. And they do that probably for the first 2 or 3 properties.
Yep.
And then they kind of go, oh shit, this is too slow.
Yeah.
So what can I do next? So they start looking into some sort of refurbishment stuff, renovation stuff.
Yep.
Right. So buy some old house in a good street, spend 100
Do some
grand,
reno.
200 grand, do some reno,
Yep.
and get a bit of an uplift.
Some equity creation.
Yep. So it's faster than just buying and holding.
Mm-hmm.
And then a third stage is doing some small time development. Maybe they're building some duplexes, or maybe some small townhouse developments, or maybe some unit developments.
Mhm.
That's kind of like the typical investor journey.
Mhm.
And then they stop,
Okay.
right? Because with residential, that's pretty much it. That's the ceiling.
Yeah, the development pathway is pretty much you're peaked out. Did you ever go down that pathway, by the way?
No. So what I did was after stage 2, after the refurb, I went, God, I don't want to do development.
Yeah.
So I went, my mentor's killing it with
Yeah.
commercial property.
Mm.
Maybe I should just do commercial property. So I didn't step into stage 3
Mm.
of the residential investment journey.
You skipped it.
I segued it into the commercial.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is what I'm doing right now, which what I'm helping all my clients do now.
Yep.
Graduating from residential into commercial.
Yeah.
And the returns are just as good with much lower risk
In commercial.
in commercial.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yep.
right.
And I can get into why in all that in a second.
Mhm.
So that's how I kind of got into commercial property.
Yeah.
And I was at that time, commercial property was predominantly office space,
Mhm.
and commercial office space prices were going up by $1,000 a square meter
Yeah.
every year.
That's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, so my initial plan was, well, if I can buy 1,000 square meters of office space,
You're making $1 million a year.
I'll make $1 million a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. So, and that was a pretty feasible sort of plan, because my first commercial property was a 250 square meter office in Otaman.
And how much were they costing back then? So you would have bought that when you were what, 26, right? 27? 27.
I think I bought that for, I think 650,000, and I sold it for 910,000, I think.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
How long was that gap between
About
buying
2
and selling?
years.
2 years.
About
Wow.
2
So
years.
pretty much grew 50% in 2 years.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
hot. That's great.
I got out, and this is a little bit of a fluke. I got out right at the peak of the GFC. Yeah.
Just before, like
Just before
crumbled.
crumbled.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I always tell people, I'm a genius. I predicted the GFC.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Yeah, you lucked out heavy, because if you held it for another 6 months, who knows? Could have probably tanked down to 300.
It could have.
Yeah.
It could have. So the original plan was, accumulate 1,000 square meters of office space as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And then just let the market, take care of itself. But then the GFC came.
Yeah. Changed the whole story.
That changed the whole thing. So I paused on commercial property for.
Yeah.
For
So at that stage, you just kind of like exited your commercial positions, but you still had your resi positions?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And then resi will still take a hit during GFC, didn't it?
Not so much.
Not as big,
Not so much.
but yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah, it slowed down, but it didn't really go. It didn't really tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So that was that's my kind of like
Mm.
sort of journey in terms of like investing.
Yeah.
In my beginning, sort of my early years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what about now? How many properties have you accumulated? Like commercial resi? Like, because you would have obviously separated and segued out of the resi space. You probably still have a couple of resi portfolio, but commercial wise, you've accumulated. I'm sure you've accumulated quite a bit more now.
Yeah.
What's that look like for you now?
Yeah. So interestingly, I don't hold my commercial properties.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I because my philosophy is quite different
Okay.
to a lot of the commercial buyers agents out there.
Okay. Interesting. Share that with us. I'd
Okay.
love to hear it.
So, so if I offer 2 opportunities to you,
Yep.
okay, let's say there's a property. Let's just call it $1 million, just
Yep.
for easy math, right? Let's just say here's a property is $1 million.
Yep.
Giving you 6%
Yep.
yield.
Yep.
It's in a fairly good neighborhood. You got a fairly good tenant in there.
Yep.
Versus here's $1 million property,
Mm-hmm.
but if you maybe spend 100 grand on the renovation,
Yep.
you can turn that into a $2 million property
Yep.
in 12 months.
Yep.
Like, which one would you choose?
Well, I mean, there's a nice easy flip right there, just based on opportunity, right?
Well, that's right. That's right. Because if I can make 900,000 net, let's
In
call it,
12 months.
in
Yeah.
12 months, I am basically getting all my future rents compared to this, right? 6%, 60 grand.
60 grand a year.
That's going to be 15 years.
Yeah, about 15 years. That's right.
Yeah, right. I'm basically taking my 15-year worth of income
And doing it in 12 months.
and taking it all now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why wouldn't I do that?
Mm.
And so for me to go from one property to the next, to the next, to the next, right? I need to do this as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Because for me to do option A, fuck, how long is it going to take me to buy my next property?
That's true. That's
like,
true.
It could take 3 or 5.
Especially because equity growth in terms of warehouses and office spaces and commercials a little bit slower than resi, right?
It behaves a bit differently. So
Yeah.
with commercial property in general, they come in jumps, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you might have
It's like steps, like a staircase kind of growth. Yeah.
Exactly. So residential is a little bit more of a linear growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You can predict sort of 5 to 10% every year.
Yeah.
It's fairly predictable.
Yeah.
Commercial property, it could be flat for 3 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And then it'll jump 20%.
Yeah. Right.
Year, and then go flat again. It might jump.
But it averages roughly to about the same anyway.
It probably yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, probably yes. But the beauty about commercial property is that you can add value in so many more ways than residential.
See, that's interesting because I don't think I've ever thought about that, right? Essentially, what you're doing is you're taking stage 2 of the investor journey and applying it to commercial,
Yes.
where you're creating value on a commercial property. Yeah, so talk me through that. That's pretty interesting. A lot of people think you buy a warehouse and then you just rent it out as a warehouse. It's just an empty shell. Not many people are thinking about like subdivisions, or they're thinking about like renovations for the insides. What sort of like renovations would you look at to kind of increase the value of a commercial?
Yeah, so I think this is very important for people to understand, is that all properties, whether it's residential, whether it's commercial or whatever, follows the same principle.
Okay.
Right? Supply and demand.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Obviously, each class of assets will have different drivers and different nuances and different rules and laws and regulations that you need to understand. But the fundamentals are the same. If you buy a property in a good area with good demand, like it's very hard for you to lose money, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is, with commercial property, there's more levers you can pull to add value. So let's take residential as an example. We talked about the 3 stages of a typical residential, investor. You buy and hold, you do a reno, or you do a development, right? That's pretty much about it. And in development, you could include things like subdivisions and things like that, okay? Because that's part of that sort of umbrella. But that's pretty much about it, right? You got maybe 3 things you can do. You can renovate, you can develop, and you do subdivision. Like that's it. The same strategies can be used in commercial, but in commercial there's more. So there's 5 strategies that I teach and that I use for all my clients. So this is what I call them. One is a rental reversion. I'll explain what that is a little bit later. One is a strata subdivision. One is a refurbishment and repositioning. One is DA and flip, and the other one is no money down strategy. Okay. Each 5 of these have different risk and reward sort of ratios.
Yep.
And all 5 of these can be pretty much applied to all commercial properties if you know what you're doing. So the simplest one is a rental reversion. Basically, you're trying to look for an asset, whether it's a warehouse or an office or a shopping center that's under rented. Okay, so for people out there that's trying to understand why a property will be under rented, good example is if we just look at warehousing and logistics, like just factories and industrial properties. Ever since the lockdown, across Australia, rents has gone up by, in some cases, 100%. Right? Why? Because you're in that business, and there's a rise in e-commerce.
Correct.
Yep. There are a lot more people now that are buying direct from factory, and there's just more demand on just logistics space and all that sort of stuff, right? And that's just driven up demand. And so if a tenant signed a lease just before COVID, they might be paying, let's say, $100 per square meter at that time. Fast forward to today, 5 years have gone past. Rents have some places doubled. Now the market rent's $200 per square meter.
Yeah.
But this guy's still on what we call pre-COVID rent.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yep.
They might be paying like $110 per square meter now because of your CPI increases. But their lease is going to expire soon.
Yeah.
So depending on what they sign, whether to sign a 5-year lease or 7-year lease or 10-year lease.
Yeah.
But sooner or later, their lease is going to expire and they're going to have a rental correction.
Yeah.
So we call this a rental reversion. And with commercial property, the valuation of a property is directly related to the income, related to the yield, or to the rental, I should say as well. Right. So if you increase the rent, you're directly increasing the value of the property.
Gotcha.
Okay. So good example is there's a warehouse in Brisbane that we got for one of our clients, and at the time of purchase, the guys, the tenants were paying about $105 per square meter.
Yeah.
And the market rent at that time was about $140 per square meter.
So $35 shortfall.
Yep. And then in percentage wise, that's about 35%.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Yeah, cool. And the property was bought for $4.75 million.
Okay.
Okay. We had to wait 18 months before the lease expires.
Yep.
So, which is fine.
Yep.
So, so fast forward to today, they've now re-signed a lease at $160.
Same client or same tenant?
Same tenant.
Same tenant. Wow.
$160 per square meter. That's a $55 increase.
That's huge.
That's about 50% increase.
Huge. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
So the property went from 4.75 million
to pretty much 7.5.
to the value was a little bit more conservative, went to 7 million.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. And this is in a matter of 18 months.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's 2 mil plus.
Plus. Yeah.
Plus.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're doing quick maths on the podcast today.
Yeah. So that's rental reversion. So you can't do that in residential property. How can you get a 50% increase in 18 months?
Not possible.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but I haven't seen it. Right. Without doing any
Like
development.
a huge development project or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a massive DA approval. Yeah.
Yeah. This is just simple rental reversion.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow. Crazy.
That's number one. And then number two, you've got your strata subdivisions.
Yeah.
Which is basically buying something that's got multiple tenants. So maybe it's a shopping center.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe there's 10 shops there. And not every property can be sharded, and there's all different regulations and laws and nuances that goes into it. But in terms of like high level principle, maybe you buy something that's got 10 shops, and then you strata it, subdivide it into strata, and then you sell them off individually. And then what you find is that in many cases, the properties are worth more individually on a rate per square meter than they are collectively.
Right.
Yeah. Why? Because there are more buyers that can afford $500,000
Individual shops. Yeah.
than $5 million.
So you can actually sell inside of a shopping center. You can actually sell one of those retail spaces.
Well, if you're allowed to strata it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So assuming you can.
Yeah.
I give an example. Like there's a Civic Arcade in Parramatta.
Okay.
Okay. It's on George Street. And once upon a time, there's just one big arcade.
Yeah.
I think there's like 30 shops in there. Right.
One
day, some developer came in and just went, I'll strata it.
Yeah.
I'll divide them all into different lots, and he then sold them. Right. So each shop is owned by somebody else.
So it's all independent owners now.
All independent owners. So think about it like an apartment building.
Yeah.
Okay. There's some apartment buildings that are owned by one person.
Yeah.
And it's not sharded.
Yeah.
And then there are apartment buildings that are sharded and owned by multiple people.
Yeah.
Each unit owned by somebody else.
Individuals. Yeah.
Yeah. So same sort of concept. But what you typically find is that in many markets, not all, but in many markets, there is a gap between a freehold property and a strata property. So it's, so we just need to understand the market. That what is that gap? Is it a 10% gap? Is it a 20% gap? Is it a 30% gap?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, so for those who don't know what a freehold and a strata property is, what's a quick for dummies explanation? Like, say I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What's a freehold and what's a strata?
So a freehold is basically you own the land.
Yep.
And the building on top. So the house is a freehold.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
A strata is when you share the land with other owners, like an apartment
Okay.
building.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, that's
chopped it up and essentially. Okay, that's good. That's
Yeah.
a great, representation of that and great understanding of it.
Mm.
That's really, really interesting. So you're obviously helping your clients. You're doing, great deals for them. A lot of your commercial side of things is, you'll acquire a great asset and you'll see different opportunities with them. You got 5 different strategies that you go on and do.
Mm.
Which ones do you like yourself? When let's just say you're getting started, like you're fresh, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people listening probably have no idea about commercial, never been in commercial, might have a bit of money, might not, who knows?
Yeah.
But like, let's just say a part of their strategy is they want to get into commercial. What would be like an ideal one in terms of headaches, right? For like the first one that you'll try to find
Yeah.
for someone.
Yeah. So it really depends on your risk appetite,
Okay.
right? I mean, naturally, for most of my clients who are first-time commercial buyers,
Mm-hmm.
they have a lower risk appetite because,
What's first time? Dipping your
First
toes.
yeah, they just want to get their feet wet and, see how things go.
Mhm.
So out of those 5 strategies that I mentioned, they basically go from the lowest to the highest risk. But obviously the highest risk, you get a highest
High
reward.
reward.
Yeah. So most of my clients who are first-time commercial buyers, they stick to the first 2, which
Yep.
is the rental reversion and maybe strata subdivision,
Mm-hmm.
because those are the least complicated ones
Yep.
to pull off.
Yep.
But we've also got clients for the first commercial property.
Yep.
They go, nah, let's just go all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to sit around.
Yeah.
Like, just find me the best deal. I don't care what the risk is, as long as we do our research properly.
Of course.
So I've got clients that's doing has done like a DA and flip, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a quick case study. The last client who did one,
Yep.
bought a development site in the Gold Coast
Okay.
for 3.4 million.
Yep.
Spent about 300 grand on getting a DA.
Yep.
Is now looking to sell it for $6 to $7 million.
Wow. So it's 3.7 all in, essentially, excluding fees and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
So
it's called 4 million.
called 4 million all in.
Yeah.
And then he's looking to flip it for how much again?
6 to 7 million.
6 to 7 million. And then how long was that time frame?
10 months.
Fuck. So okay, we're talking $2 to $3 million uplift in 10 months.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's crazy. I mean, that's real estate, right?
Yeah.
And we always know it takes money to make money. I'm sure the people who are watching this, they don't want to just be average, right? We're called 0.01 for a reason.
Yeah.
We're always investigating and trying to figure out what makes that 0.01 percentage. So what is it for you, right? Like, you've been in this industry now going on close to your 30 years inside of real estate. You're 25 years plus now in the industry. How much would you say in terms of deals would you have done? I'm pretty sure it's going to be very hard to remember, but like, what would be like the total deal flow that's gone
Probably
through?
600 deals.
600 deals.
Yeah. All up, small and big deals.
Yeah. 600 plus deals. And do you know how much that would equate to in total summation or valuation or?
Yeah, I did that exercise.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago. So it's different now.
So it could be more now.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what it is, but at a couple of years ago, I worked out to be around $3.5 billion
$3.5
worth of transaction value.
Jeez, it's probably close to what? More than that now. 4 billion now, close to.
Possibly.
Yeah, because you've done a lot of commercial deals in the last couple of years, and it's been red hot for you the last 12 months. So
Yeah.
so it's been good. Yeah, it's definitely been growing, which is exciting. So run me through the mindset, right? What's the mindset of trying to become the best in your space? Because obviously you're quite young. You're MD. You're senior executives. You're a director. You were this. You were that. Cool titles, fancy titles, right?
Yeah.
What was that process on being young, right? Like, because I'm almost 30 now. I'm 29, but a lot of people out there at their 29, 28, 30s is when they kind of start to explore like the part of life where they start to get those promotions, right? But the thing is, out of a big company, there's not many positions like that. There's not many directorships or there's not many senior managers, et cetera, right? Because obviously it's a hierarchy. So what is that process that you went through? Or what sort of mindset did you have for you to do that and accomplish that very early on? Because that's not normal. You know what I mean?
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to be good at what you do.
Yeah.
Regardless. Right.
And what would be your strategy, or what would be the tactical side of becoming, the best at what you do?
When you're starting off, you have to have a good mentor.
So
mentor doesn't necessarily have to be some guru, that's, holding your hand through deals and things like that. A good manager can be a good mentor.
Mm.
I was very fortunate, I think. Um, in many of my positions, I had a really good boss or a very good mentor.
Yeah.
And they all taught me different things.
Mm.
You know, my first job with commercial, I worked under Terry Bennett. Like I said, he's the best sales guy I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right. And so he taught me sales.
Yeah.
Just by being around him, watching what he does.
So you just absorbed his energy, essentially.
Absorb his energy, just being very observant.
Yeah.
Right. And try to apply your kind of like your own style in there.
Of course.
So, I mean, that's really important. And then having a good boss is also really important because that means they can provide opportunities for you.
Mm.
Right. So, and you know, people's heard the saying, right? People don't leave companies, they leave managers. They leave bad managers. Right. Because if you have a bad manager, you're going to get nowhere because you're not going to get the recognition. Maybe you'll be treated unfairly, you know, and all those type of things. But if you have a good manager, a good boss, they'll hopefully, you know, provide opportunities for you. They'll recognize your efforts and things like that. And you'll proceed through your, you know, career a lot faster. So I think, you know, for guys under 30 at the moment that are up and coming, I think number one, you got to be very good at what you do. And that just requires a strong mindset and hardworking work ethic. Number two, just surround yourself with good people. And what's really important is having a good manager or mentor or boss. That's critical. And just learn. Like don't be arrogant. Just be humble because people that are there have probably 10, 20 years more experience than you. You know, they've eaten more salt than you've eaten sugar, as
Of course.
the Chinese saying.
That's
right?
great. Yeah, great saying.
Yeah. So they've been through more shit than you've been through good times. So that's really important. And then when you feel like you're ready, don't be shy to ask for a promotion. Don't be shy to ask for more responsibility because the more that you can demonstrate that you can do, the more you'll be valued by your peers, by your superiors. That's how you go through quickly.
I think that's very, very good advice. I think a lot of people don't really think of that, and you know, they're not aware of it because obviously we were once upon a time the young stud who was, you know, super high ego, like we had all this confidence and we wanted it all. But there's a very fine line between confidence and arrogance, and I think that's where a lot of people have that shortfall and they can't progress, like they can't progress through their careers as much because what they see is like their manager is like a roadblock or their boss is a roadblock. But in fact, they are your greatest supporters because they want you to do the best at what you do because obviously that makes them look better as well. Yeah. And I think that's very, very important. So that's very, very interesting. What about your childhood, your upbringing growing up? Like how was that like for you? Because a lot of what we are today stems from our childhood and people don't realize that.
Wow.
What was your journey like when you were a kid? Were you born here, by the way? Or
No, I was born in Hong Kong.
Oh, you were born in Hong Kong?
Yeah,
When did you come over?
I came here when I was 5.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much an ABC.
Close enough.
You're close enough to an ABC.
Very close.
Right? I've forgotten how to read Chinese. I've forgotten probably half of my Chinese.
Yeah.
In terms of reading, writing, I can still speak fluently.
Yeah.
So came here at a really young age. You know, I'm still young to really remember what life was like back in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So, you know, for the best part, you know, I'm Aussie, ABC.
Yeah.
And typical immigrant family, mum and dad, my brother came here.
What did your parents do?
Yeah, so my dad was a factory operator. He's a factory director.
Oh, actually. Okay. Back in Hong Kong.
Back in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So, and this is like, obviously I was too young to remember, but this is like information that my parents told me when I was
yeah.
So my dad was the youngest member of the Hong Kong factory director club or whatever it
is.
Yeah, they have like a society for it.
Yeah.
He was 28.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was directing like massive factories, whole factories, right? Yeah. So he was doing that. He was very successful. And then family decided to migrate to Australia, so he had to give up that career to come here. And I think he was in Australia for about 3 or 4 years, just doing odd jobs like working in restaurants, post office, and, you know, all that type of stuff.
It's a big sacrifice for our parents, man.
It's a big sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I think like it got to him.
Oh, you reckon?
It got to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got to him because like he was he was making decent coin as a
Yeah.
factory director.
Well, look at all the factory managers nowadays in Australia. They're the ones buying properties from you.
they're the ones- yeah.
They're the ones buying all the factories here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And so he went back to Hong Kong
Mm.
to work for to work as a factory director.
Mm.
And then that was back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And that was a time when all these electronic translators were coming out.
Oh, the
little
little touch
tiny
one with the keypad on it.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember those. I remember
Tap
those.
it in. Yeah, you remember
Yeah,
those?
I remember those.
So my dad was their head of operations and manufacturing for Instant Dictionary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if that brand still exists, but back then it was basically the number one or number two electronic translator in Southeast.
I think it's like a little, for those guys who don't remember, I'm going to try to find an image of it, but it's like a little silver kind of mini micro laptop thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like
It's like a
this
tiny,
big.
tiny thing.
And
Yeah.
it's got like the little number pads on it, and then
Yeah.
you just type it in and it translates it.
Yeah,
It's that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like an old fashioned Blueberry.
Yeah, pretty
You
much,
type
pretty
it in,
much. And back then, if you had one of those, everyone was like, "Wow, this guy is heavy." Like,
Yeah.
they, they definitely are doing some hectic business. This is
Yeah.
a businessman right here. When you pull out the translator and you pull out the BlackBerry, you make money.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a status symbol.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he was doing that for a number of years.
Mm.
And then and I think the partners of that business sold the business.
Yeah.
And then my dad got a pretty good paycheck.
Yeah.
And then he left that gig
Mm.
and he started his own factory
Yeah.
in Shenzhen.
Yeah. Oh wow. So he went to China,
He went to China.
went to
Yep.
mainland. Yeah.
Yeah, went to mainland because that's the only place you can.
Of course. And Shenzhen now, for those who don't know, is like the tech capital of China.
Yeah.
It's like literally the Silicon Valley of China. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the amount of money and wealth. And
But the amount of
Shit.
factories, the mega factories that are there is incredible.
it's insane.
Insane.
Yeah. So my dad was doing that in the 90s. Yeah.
Mm.
So he started his own factory, but he was doing small electronics.
Yeah.
Like little watches, calculators, like that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But that's cool. So anyway, ultimately he retired and all that type of stuff.
Mm.
My mom was a stay-at-home mom, but my mom's a really
Was she a tiger mom? Did she like beat your ass for not doing homework?
no, not really.
Oh wow.
No, my mom was pretty like well, at least with me, she was pretty casual because
Yeah.
my brother was the what do you call it, like the prodigy child.
Yeah. Or his older brother?
My older brother.
Okay. So he's the one that got his ass whooped.
Yeah, no, he didn't really get his ass whooped because he was so smart.
Oh,
So,
okay.
this is my brother, right?
Yeah,
My
yeah.
brother graduated high school
Yeah.
at 16,
Oh shit.
got 100 for his TR,
Oh my lord.
did a double degree in computer science and electrical engineering,
Jesus.
finished it by the time he was 19.
Yeah.
Got typically his 5-year degree, didn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
He did his honors,
Yeah.
and then he was 1 year into his PhD,
Yeah.
and he went, "Fuck it, I don't want to go down the academic route."
Yeah.
Yep. And then he went to Hong Kong and started working.
Yeah.
And he did all this by the time he was 21.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's he doing now?
He's retired.
Oh shit.
Sorry, let me get this. No, let me rephrase.
Okay.
He retired when he was, I think, 38 or 39.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Yep.
Did he
Yeah.
invent something crazy?
No. So he was the first batch of IT
Oh, like during the
Directors.
the boom.
during that
Wow.
massive boom,
Wow.
like the
Like
in the
90s.
late 90s.
Yeah.
early
Yeah.
2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was working
The .com boom.
the dot-com boom. So he was working for the major banks. Like I think his last gig was with Standard Charter, I think.
Okay.
Like he was one of their head IT guys
Yeah.
in there.
Fuck. He would have been making coin.
He was like,
Yeah.
and my brother's really smart.
Yeah.
So he basically took like majority of his paycheck
Yeah.
and just fucking invested in property.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. And he's not a big spender.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't own a single piece of luxury.
Yeah.
Fashion.
You should probably send him a Rolex.
Yeah, he'll probably curse me and sell it,
Yeah.
and then
And then put it into property.
put it in his property. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing he spends his money on is travel.
Yeah.
So he's been to like 90 countries.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like good on him. And food. Like he loves food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and I are very different.
Yeah.
But anyway, long story short, he retired in his late 30s.
Yeah.
And then he was I think 6 months into his retirement, he was bored fucking shitless.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, maybe I just get a job in a real estate agent as a property manager
as well. He got into
Yeah.
real estate too.
Yeah, and his idea was so I can manage my own properties better.
Yeah.
So he literally walked into his local real estate agency. He's like, "Can I have a job as a property manager?"
Is he still here in Australia?
Yeah, he's in
Oh,
Australia.
he's in Australia.
Yeah, he's in
okay.
Melbourne.
Oh, cool.
So he's like, yeah, give me a job as a property manager. You don't have to pay me much. Like, I just want to, like,
I'm rich already.
like, I'm like, we're retired.
yeah.
And the guy's like, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he did obviously kicked ass because
Yeah.
he's very smart and he's an investor.
Yeah.
And he started his own real estate. firm.
What was it called? Property Panthers.
No. He's got a fancy name, Sequoia.
Oh, Sequoia.
Yeah, it stands
Wow.
for something.
Yeah.
Some
That's a nice
some
name.
Greek word
Yeah.
that stands for something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he's got his own real estate business down in Melbourne.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So like that's him, right?
Still doing it now?
Still doing it now.
Oh, the agency's still there.
Still there.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
crazy.
But it's a small operation because
Yeah.
he doesn't need to
He doesn't need to make
he
it.
doesn't need to
Yeah.
like so much money, but does it because he's still young, relatively young. He's in his 50s.
Yeah.
He wants to do
Yeah.
something, stay active, something like that. But yes, so my brother is the son
He's
that
the genius in the family.
every Asian family
Yeah,
wants,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Falling short of being a doctor, but like fuck,
Doesn't matter, bro. The amount of money he made and the amount of investments he accumulated, doesn't matter being a doctor or whatever. You'll be fine.
Yeah, he does really well. So there was like zero pressure on me. Like I think my parents couldn't care less.
They're
What I
like,
did.
fuck it, whatever Will wants to do.
Like just fucking like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
just graduate and then like fuck it, do
Just
whatever.
do your thing.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they didn't give a shit. My mum didn't give
Yeah,
a shit what I did.
Yeah.
But my mum was a very smart investor. She was also very good with her money.
Okay.
Like she's not a big spender, even up to now.
Yeah.
She doesn't spend on expensive stuff, and she gets excited when she can go to the grocery store and buy
Get a
shit.
discount.
Yeah,
That's my parents as well. Oh my gosh, Charlotta, the $1 off today. Holy shit. I'm going to buy the Charlotte.
she fucking messaged me and
Yeah.
oh fuck, like I bought this for like $1.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. But she invested heavy into stocks,
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
so she's got a pretty good portfolio and all
Yeah.
that type of stuff. And I don't think she ever worked after I was born. She never worked.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but she was able to support herself and her family just for her investments.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So she's a fucking millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she doesn't act like one.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think most parents are like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
My auntie's the same. Still everything has to be the discount stuff in the shop. It's the Asian mindset.
It's the Asian mindset. They get a kick out of it.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. If we get a good deal, I mean, same thing. If you saw a good deal in real estate, you get a fucking kick out of it too.
Yeah,
So
true.
if you get a special, imagine they gave you the Rolex for 20% off, you'd be like, oh, fuck, I'll buy two.
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah. Oh, if I buy sneakers, I get 10% off. I'm like, yeah, fuck.
I'm a fucking winner, bro. I'm a winner. That's the mentality.
The funny thing is, you won't buy if there's no discount.
Yeah, that's right. When you look at no discount, whatever, and you can still afford it. It's not like you can't afford it.
No,
It's just-
you can't afford it.
I just need to win. I have to win, and that's the mentality.
That's right. I
Yeah,
need a good deal.
I need a good
I
deal,
need a
and
good
I
deal.
have to win. Even if you take $5 off, I win.
And you give me 5
I'm
cents
the
off,
winner. Yeah, I'm the winner.
Yeah.
I'm the winner.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all that matters. Oh, that's crazy. So you had a fantastic childhood then, in terms of family. What about like friends going through school? Did you go through like bullying? Like, was there any like really negative times, dark times for you?
Yeah, actually, so just quickly back on my family. So
Yeah.
that was just my parents. So unfortunately, my parents separated.
Okay.
I think it's because of the long distance thing.
Yep,
Because my
yep.
dad was basically
In
based in
China.
China.
Yeah.
He would only come back once a year.
Yeah.
Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
So I basically didn't see my dad since I was from the age of sort of 10.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So basically between 10 and 18,
Yep.
I only saw my dad like 3 weeks in a year.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So even though my parents didn't divorce until I was 18,
Yeah.
I was pretty much raised by a single
Divorced.
mom.
Yeah. Divorced household, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Their long distance thing, just doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
So I think as a result, I think one of the biggest impact that I had was I didn't really have a father figure that was present
Mm.
all the time.
I think that's a big issue for a lot of Asian households and a lot of like new age households as well. I think I see that a lot. A lot of like, one of the parents are not present, especially for boys growing up. Like having a father figure is pretty important.
It's so important.
Yeah. Otherwise you get daddy issues.
It's so important.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened, right? Because when I met my mentor was like a lot older, it's like 15 plus years older.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't know at the time, but I did have a daddy complex.
Oh.
Right. So I always gravitated towards older men,
Yeah.
older
You
male.
had like authority and power.
It was just, like even in the workplace,
Yeah.
like I always look up to my managers who are
Yeah.
older. My mentor was a lot older. So I
Yeah.
had that daddy complex.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
Now I retrospectively look back at it.
Yeah.
I understand it. So I think when I was growing up, especially in high school, going through puberty, going to a boys' school, Sydney boys, we went
Yeah.
to the same school.
We went to the same high school.
Yeah.
But like 20 years apart.
Something like that.
Crazy. He graduated before I was even born. So crazy. I think so, wasn't it? 90?
97.
Yeah, well, I was 95. I was born 95.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
close
You're 2
enough.
years old. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
2 years old when you graduated.
All right.
But same school. Same school.
Same school. Great
Yeah,
school.
same school. Great school.
Yeah,
Fantastic
great
school.
Yeah. So I think that definitely affected my childhood because there wasn't a stable father figure at home.
Yeah.
My mum was going through menopause at the time.
Yeah.
So her and I fought almost every day.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Like the angry teenage kid.
Angry
Vibe.
teenage kid, angry
mom.
mom.
Yeah.
And this is a funny story. I can't even remember why we're fighting.
Yeah.
She was cooking on the wok,
Yeah.
fighting,
Yeah.
and then she threw the hot wok
Oh.
at me.
Oh, fuck.
It didn't hit me,
Yeah.
thankfully,
Yeah.
but she threw it at me like
Fuck.
look,
You pissed her off a lot,
Like,
bro.
it's
To
probably-
throw the wok is you've done
Oh,
something,
yeah, I
bro.
did something. I didn't know what it was. But hey, for people who are listening and watching,
Yeah.
this is a typical Chinese household.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know whether you got spanked when you were a kid
Yeah.
with those
Oh, I got
feather,
smacked.
feather dusters.
Oh, bro, I copped the belt. I copped the clothes hanger. I copped the stick. I copped
Yes.
everything. Everything around.
Yeah.
Oh,
So like just typical Chinese family.
yeah.
So my high school between I guess year 8 and year 10 was really tough.
Really rough. Yeah.
Really tough because I was 13, between 13 and 16, 13 and 15.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was really tough. So I was going through puberty. My mom was going through menopause.
Yeah.
I was bullied at school.
Yeah.
A lot.
Why were you bullied? Because Sydney boys was very different back in the day, right? Now it's like 95% Asian.
Mm.
But back in your days, was there a lot of like Caucasians? Well, what was that?
There's still a lot of Asians. I
Still a
think-
lot of Asians.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
I would probably say 50%.
Okay.
At least 50% were Asian. And when I say Asian, Vietnamese, Chinese,
Yeah.
Koreans, Japanese,
Yeah.
and all that. I'll include Indians
Yeah.
there as well.
Yeah.
We had a lot of Jews
Oh,
in my
okay.
grade. Yeah, so we had 180 people, and I think we had probably 20 Jews.
Okay. Wow.
In my
Yeah, we
grade.
had maybe like 2 or 3. I think.
I think it's very different now.
Yeah. Very, very different.
Yeah. And then the rest were Aussies and
Yeah,
things
right.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bullying it was never racial.
Okay.
Yeah, so I never really experienced racism
Yeah.
on any serious level.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, but it was more like just didn't know how to fit in. Right,
Okay.
didn't know how to fit in, and then what was really stupid, and this is like boys' school stupid.
Yeah.
So, because I used to live in Cherrybrook, and
Yeah.
and this is how I go to school.
Yeah.
I'll catch a bus at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
To West Benny Hills train station.
Uh-huh.
Catch a train from West Benny Hills to Central Station.
Uh-huh.
Catch the 6:10 bus.
Yeah. Oh, the
to-
610.
6:10.
Still the same.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah.
Catch the 6:10 or 6:11.
Yeah.
To
Still
Mill Park.
the same.
Still the same.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then go to school, and it was an hour and a half each way, and I'll do it.
Is Cherrybrook not close to school? Is not?
Cherrybrook's like West Benny Hills, man.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. It's the wrong direction. Sorry, I'm thinking of something else. Yeah.
Back then, there's no
Yeah.
metro.
Yeah. No metro.
There's
Nothing.
no metro.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah.
So it was literally Hills bus to
Yeah. Hills bus.
Hills bus to West Benny Hills.
Yeah.
Catch the train to Central,
Central.
and then bus again.
Yeah.
And then
Off to school.
and then back home. So it was an hour and a half each trip. So it's a
Yeah.
3-hour round trip.
3-hour round trip.
Okay.
Crazy.
So when you're on public transport, there's other kids from other schools.
Yeah.
Right. That
Yeah.
will catch the train and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And sometimes you become friends, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
So this one kid,
The trauma's so deep. Still remembers.
I still remember it. But it's funny when I look back at
Yeah.
it. And there's this one kid, for some reason he was picking on me.
Yeah.
on the train
Yeah.
because we used to catch the same train at the same carriage,
Yeah.
so that I can meet my friends.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
yeah. We used to always do that.
Eh,
Carriage, you know, two in front of the guard or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, you catch the 7:10 train, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so this one kid from another school, I can't remember what school it was now.
Yeah.
For some reason, he used to pick on me
Yeah.
like a lot.
Yeah.
He just tease me, call me names, and I was like, yeah, I don't care, like just whatever.
Yeah.
But there's one day, I wasn't in a good mood.
Yeah.
I can't remember what happened in that day, but I wasn't in a good mood. I was just didn't feel like being teased by
Yeah.
someone
He's like,
else. Right?
fuck it. I had enough of this shit.
Yeah. So that guy went off at me.
Yeah.
And I was in such a bad mood. I walked up to him and headbutted him.
You were fucking bang.
Yeah. I just went boom.
Yeah.
Okay, and look, I'm not proud of any of this. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. But that's just life.
Yeah.
That's just what I was in high school. I was probably year 8,
Yeah.
13
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
And bang, headbutted him, and then I got off the train.
Yeah.
Right. Don't know what happened. And then the next day, the principal, the headmaster, called me into the office.
He dobbed you in?
Yeah.
What a snitch.
Yeah, he dropped me in.
What
He
a
dropped me
snitch.
in, and then I got suspended for 3 days
Wow.
for fighting with
Wow.
another boy,
From another school.
another school.
Wow.
Yeah. And I saw him on the train like a couple of days later or whatever. He had a massive swollen black eye.
Oh, you pumped him.
Yeah, I didn't even know I hit him that hard.
Yeah, wow.
I didn't know it. Like I didn't know my head was so hard, right? So and then anyway, so I said, okay, I understand why I got suspended.
Yeah.
So anyway, so when I got back
Yeah.
from my suspension,
Yeah.
the whole grade
Yeah.
like learned about it,
Yeah.
and then one of the names that kid called me
Yeah.
for some reason called me the bus driver.
Okay.
Don't 100% explain why. I don't remember why.
Yeah.
So the whole grade started
Calling
calling me
bus driver.
The whole grade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, and it was so bad. The whole grade started teasing me
Yeah.
non-stop for like the whole fucking term.
Wow.
Yeah, and then there was one time during assembly. It wasn't the whole school assembly; it was my grade assembly.
Yeah.
It was in the hall,
Great hall, yeah.
the grade hall, and then they started teasing me
In the great hall.
in the grade hall. Yeah, and I couldn't stand it,
Yeah.
and I put my hand through the glass door, and I just smashed it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Because it's like little pains, isn't
a
it?
little pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom, it was like really thin glass.
Yeah, yeah.
And I smashed it. Little cuts there, whatever. And then finally they stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally they stopped, and then obviously got a little bit in trouble. But year 8, year 9 was really tough. Because I wasn't sure what I was doing in life because I was going through puberty.
Yeah.
Didn't really have dad around. Mom was going through menopause.
Yeah.
I was being bullied at school. Couldn't really make friends. So it was really tough. But I think from about year 10 onwards, I think about 15 onwards, it started becoming good. Like I started becoming really good at sports.
Yeah.
So I was in basketball and soccer.
Yeah.
I was in the this is like I never got into the A team.
Oh, in the A teams, yeah. It's like first grade.
Yeah, but I was better.
Oh.
I was better than the goalkeeper in A.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the only reason was because all their friends was in the A team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There's always a little bit of politics.
a little bit of politics.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a really good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
15 Bs. We lost only one game
Yeah, wow.
the entire season.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, but yeah, so I think like just for my sports, I think I developed a better reputation in school.
Yeah.
And I think year 11, 12, I really thrived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's and it's so interesting how it changes because you're with the same grade the whole 6 years you're in high school. And it's just all of a sudden that we're older. And I was the same. I went through the same experience, year 7 to year 10. A lot of bullying. I was a fat kid. And then I started doing a lot of sports and I started training in the gym every day.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they were like, what the fuck? This Alan kid just came out of nowhere. He now is in the A's. He's in first grade. He's in this. He's New South Wales rep. He does all of this. And everyone's like, oh, well, then that's where the respect comes from.
Yeah.
And I think that actually stems down to what you were saying earlier. It's like whatever you want to do, you just have to be good at it.
You just have to be good at it.
You
Yeah.
really command respect when you're good at something. People don't look at mediocre people and go, oh, yeah, I respect that. You know,
Mm.
you're a sick cunt. Like, you know, you're just average. You're a sick cunt. No, people look at you and go, wow, they're so good. Instantaneously, you command the room.
Yeah.
I think that's really powerful.
I think so. And I think looking back now, around 15 was when I started lifting weights.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
It's like year 10, right?
Year
Pretty
10.
sure, yeah. About
year 10. Year
Yeah.
10. So there was a, they had a gym that the rowers used to use.
Yes, that's right.
Right. And so the first couple of weeks, the rowers didn't want me there.
Yeah.
Fucked it.
Yeah.
I'm going to work out here.
Yeah.
And I think as from that point onwards, I think I discovered what I really like, which
Yeah.
is fitness and sports and
Yeah.
health.
Yeah.
So it was, that's when I started lifting weights.
Yeah.
And that's when it's like I kind of figured out what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh fuck, I love fitness, I love sports, I love health.
Yeah.
I want to be a physio. And I think that gave me the anchor, or at least the direction I want to head.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel lost anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. So my life has more direction.
Yeah.
And more meaning. So that was, I think that was very helpful.
Mm.
So I think for any, like, I guess parents out there, I think like sports is so important, and we're so lucky in Australia where sports is very,
So, like, it's everywhere.
it's everywhere. It's like it's main curriculum.
Yeah.
Like not like a lot of Asian
That's right.
countries.
That's right.
So like get your kids into some sort of sports,
Especially team sports.
team sports, very important.
Very,
Yeah.
very important.
And-
And you're a parent now.
Yeah.
So you got 4 kids.
Yeah,
Four
yeah,
kids.
almost. The 3 and 1 coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're gonna have 4 kids.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, putting them through sport is gonna be quite an intense journey for you.
Yeah,
All the games, pickups, everything.
yeah. I don't want to think about it yet, but
That's okay. Maybe you can retire like your brother, you know, and then just be a sports dad.
I'm waiting for self-driving cars to come.
Yeah. Or upgrade to the minivan that self drives, you know.
Yeah, just
take
my
them.
kid to.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
How do you reckon all of this translated for you, right? Like, you know, you played sports, you were bullied, you went through all of that sort of stuff. Now obviously going to your own career, and doing very well. Actually, with that being said, what was the biggest deal that you did, like in your corporate career? So prior to Property Lions, what was the biggest deal you did there?
The biggest deal that I did was probably a 6,000 square meter pre-lease.
Okay.
Yeah, to a government.
Yeah.
Yeah, in I think it was Burwood.
On Burwood.
Yeah.
Well, where
Yeah.
6,000 square meters in Burwood?
So
besides
on
Westfield?
George Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's behind Burwood Road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like most people wouldn't even know there's like all these offices behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was leased to the state government. And I say that that's the biggest deal is because that's the biggest commission.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How big was the commission? Do you remember?
The commission was about 600,000,
Holy shit.
but that's to the company.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, but so by the time I got my cut,
Yeah.
like I was like, pfft,
Yeah.
yeah, after tax and
Yeah. That's what always happens. Man.
that's-
That's typical sales for you.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
But the biggest deal I wish I would have done
Okay. Here we go.
would have been an 800,000 commission check,
Yeah.
and I would have pocketed at least half of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the deal fell over just as COVID was being
Fucking
announced.
COVID. Yeah.
The deal was a development site in South Sydney.
Yeah.
I was negotiating on this deal for about 15 months.
Wow.
15 months back and forth with the seller and buyer. 15 months, the terms were agreed.
Yeah.
Finally. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, yes.
Yeah.
Agreed to buy
Yeah.
for $40 million.
Yeah.
2% commission.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, great. The buyer was literally
Yeah.
just about to sign a contract,
Yeah.
and then all the news about the pandemic started coming
Ah.
through. And then they're like,
I'm good. No thanks.
yeah, sorry, we're going to have to pull out a deal. Like, we don't know what to expect with the pandemic.
Yeah.
And they pull out like 11th hour. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my Lord. So how do you recover from something like that, right? Like a lot of people are just like, fuck, I give up. I don't want to do sales no more. Tomorrow I'm sending my letter of resignation. I'm out. I'm bouncing. How did you, what was going through your head? It was just like, so close now. 400K comms this month. It's going to be fucking sick. It's going to be a great year. And then bang, taken away from him, ripped away. How was that? Like literally, it's like almost pen to paper. And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm out.
Yeah. It was fucking devastating, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it took me 2 weeks to recover.
You're mourning the death of the deal.
I was like, I mean, like, sometimes as a sales guy,
Yeah.
you start daydreaming about what you can do with the money.
Yeah.
You know,
What was going through your head? What were you gonna do? What was the first thing? 400K bang into the. What are you gonna do?
yeah. Like I was gonna save most of it, invest most
Of course.
Yeah.
Smart thing to do.
Yeah, but I was thinking about, it's time for a new car.
Yeah.
What should I buy?
Yeah.
Well, eyeing that Porsche.
Yeah.
All that shit.
Yeah.
And then it's like gone.
Gone.
It's just
What went through your head? What was the first thought? Like, fuck, did you have a rage? Did you have like a fucking tantrum? What'd you do? That moment. The buyer's like, yeah, look, we're out. What went through your head?
I cursed nonstop for probably about 5 minutes. Like literally.
Fuck.
No, seriously, I just went, fuck it. Fuck.
What, in your own house or were you in public?
No, I was in the office. I was in the office.
People must have thought you were crazy, bro.
No, I told my colleagues what happened, and they're like, "Oh fuck,
Yeah.
and they felt sorry for me,
Yeah.
and all that." And I was literally just cursing. I walked out of the office.
Yeah.
I went downstairs, and I was just cursing on the street.
Oh.
Like I had to let it out.
Yeah.
Like anyone who's in sales
Yeah,
understands
they'll get
what I was going through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like I was like that close from like fuck it, I'm just quit real estate.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's the snap, bro. That's the snapping.
Yeah. And and that's the thing with sales.
Yeah.
You got your highs when deals are coming
Oh, yeah.
through.
When it's high, it's high.
Or when it's
But-
high.
Yeah.
When shit hits the fan,
Yeah.
it's fucking stressful and devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you invest so much time and energy to get a big fat zero.
Yeah.
To get a donut, as they
Yeah.
call it. So it happens all the time. And that's where the mental capacity, the mental strength really comes into it. Because psychologically, that would fuck with a lot of people.
A lot of people burn out because of that.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's a good question. How often do you see sales guys just come in and out?
All the time.
Yeah, like what's the sort of lifespan do you see back in the day when you were in the office? You're like, oh, hey, Steve. And then everyone's like, where's Steve next week? He's gone. He's fucking quit.
Yeah, you know the funny thing is like in a good market,
Yeah.
everyone's a fucking real estate agent.
Oh, yeah.
Your fucking taxi drivers are a real estate
Bro,
agent.
that's like right now. Everyone's a crypto guy. Everyone's a fucking investor.
Yeah, your hairdresser's a fucking real estate agent.
Yeah.
You know? It's like
Your
everyone-
aunties, all the aunties are real
all your
estate
fucking
agents.
aunties are real estate agents.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know this developers. It's a good
Yeah,
deal,
yeah.
blah,
Oh, this is a
blah.
good deal. Let's go Southwest Sydney. Let's go get all these properties. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then when the market turns,
Yeah.
80% of them disappears.
Yeah. Where's the crypto guys now, right? Like, I haven't seen a single TikTok video of crypto in like 2 weeks.
yeah, exactly. So, I think like in generally in real estate, that's what you see. In commercial, a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think you have to be, you got to know stuff to do commercial.
Yeah.
It's a lot more complicated, more complex.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of churn.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like average career lifespan is probably 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And then some people get out of real estate and do some other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the people who are really good, they stick around.
Yeah.
They stick around and it's a career for them because
Yeah.
the money's good.
Of course.
Yeah.
If you're a really good sales guy, you're always going to make money no matter where you go. Whether
Yeah.
it's tech, whether it's real estate, whether it's whatever. But if you're shit at sales, well, you're in for a hard slog.
Yeah.
Bare minimums. Not even probably a basic salary, like just hard slog.
Well, here's the thing. What a lot of people don't realize is that I think the average real estate sales guy makes somewhere between $100,000 to $130,000 a year.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like, look, don't get me wrong.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay.
You can survive. Yeah,
It's not bad, but
Yeah.
but it's not like
life changing.
1,000.
It's not life changing.
No.
It's not life changing.
So majority makes that. There is probably your top sort of 10% that makes 3 to 500K.
Yeah.
And then you've got obviously your top 5% that makes probably 500 to a million.
Yeah.
And then you got a top 1% that makes $1 million above.
$1 million agents.
Yeah. $1
Have you ever had $1 million comms here?
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like once you make directly, you kind of expect it to,
$1 million comms here.
hit that sort of level.
How do you deal with the taxes when it comes to that? Because it's a fucking big tax bill.
Oof. You just try to write off everything.
Yeah.
You write off your dry cleaning, you write off
Yeah.
your car, you write
Yeah.
off,
And then you buy a fuckload of properties.
you buy fuckloads of properties, depreciate,
Yeah.
negative gear, some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's nothing you can do. I mean, thankfully now I own my own business.
Yeah. Different.
It's
different
different. Like I can write off a lot of things and I'm only getting taxed at like 25, 30%.
Yeah.
All that type of stuff. But just one quick story
Yeah.
about the top 0.1%, which is the
Yeah.
name of this podcast.
Yeah.
So there's just one guy in Australia,
Yeah.
this commercial real estate agent.
Yeah.
He consistently brings in $20 million a year
Commissions.
commission. Okay.
Fuck.
So his name is Simon Rooney.
Yeah.
All he does is sell shopping centers.
Jesus.
He's like the goat of
Yeah.
shopping centers.
So you go to him when you buy, or you want to buy like a Westfield.
Yeah, or when you want to sell something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got guys like Jerry Harvey on his speed dial.
Oh, geez.
You know, the guys from Westfield and
Yeah.
all that, all the major retailers. He's
Yeah.
got him on speed dial.
Yeah.
He's so good at what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the last probably 20 years,
Yeah.
he's averaged 20 million a year.
It's close to $500 million in comms.
Yeah. Yeah. And then obviously, I don't know how he splits up the company,
Yeah.
but I would expect he gets majority of it.
Yeah.
So it's actually really funny because him alone
Yeah.
makes more money than the entire department.
Yeah. And also more than probably most real estate agencies as well.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Right? Like
Yes.
a $20 million comms check is probably more than a lot of like smaller agencies will make.
I don't. Yeah, it's actually that's actually really interesting. I don't think honestly
Yeah.
think there's more than 100 agencies in Australia
That make more than 20 mil. That's what I mean. Like I think a lot of agencies would just get wiped. Like unless you're a big McGrath or like a big Ray White or a big LJ, you're probably not doing over 20 mil comms.
I don't think anyone is.
Yeah.
I think maybe I think
How many properties would you need to sell to get 20 mil in comms? Like let's just say resi, because a lot of them are resi, right?
Yeah.
So
the resi. I mean, if you're selling
you're making like 20K comms per property, 20 to 30K.
20 to 30,
Yeah.
depending on where you are.
Yeah.
I mean, you do the maths, it's 1,000 properties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of property.
You need a big team.
Yeah.
You need a
To
team
clear
of
1,000
20,
properties.
30 people
Yeah.
probably to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because most real estate agents probably sell like 1 to 3 properties a year, right? Like the smaller guys, and then the
Per
average,
month.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, per month,
Per
one
month.
to
One to three properties per month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
an average real estate agent, you would say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Resi.
Resi agent. Okay.
Yeah.
So they'll do about 30 to 40 a year. So then, yeah, if we do the maths, you need 25 agents to 30 agents
Probably.
that are not
Yeah.
drop kicks.
Yeah. And that's a big agency.
Yeah, that would be a big agency.
That would be considered a big agency.
Wow.
You get 25 sales guys.
Yeah,
That's a big
that's
agency.
pretty big.
Yeah. So you must have like really massive market share.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way you can probably do that is actually I don't think that's sustainable. Not honestly, because if you had 25, that means the law of economics is that the square root
Yeah.
of the number of staff is responsible for half the revenue.
Yep.
So if you have 25 sales staff,
Yeah.
it means 5 of them
Yeah.
are responsible for half your revenue.
Yeah.
If you look through all your business, my business, your business, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure,
Yeah.
like the square root of the staff, maybe there's like 2 staff that's in your company that's
That
responsible
guns
for
it.
that are half the revenue.
Yeah.
So those guys, those 5 people will be bringing in $10 million.
Yeah.
That means they're bringing $2 million each. They're not going to stay as an employee. They're going to
Yeah,
go.
they're out. They've bounced. Yeah,
That's right.
Bounced.
Yeah. So I don't think that model is actually sustainable. I think the only way you can make $20 million in an agency is if you're selling high ticket stuff.
Yeah.
You're selling, eastern suburb properties, $10 million properties, $20
Yeah.
million properties.
Yeah.
Guys like Black Diamond.
Yeah, Black Diamond, Rubenstein.
Yeah. Those guys will
Yeah.
be making that sort of money, and they have probably maybe 10
Yeah.
sales staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their deals are like average ticket 8 million or something like that.
8 to 15 million on
Yeah.
average. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So Simon Rooney, he's like the best guy in Australia.
Does he work for himself or is still part of an agency?
No, I think he's with Knight Frank now.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, like, why would you take the risk for opening your own agency?
That's true. The headaches, people don't realize this, the headache for starting your own business, even though you're good at something, you have to always kind of judge whether it's worthwhile at that current stage that you're in. I think it's always worthwhile to have a business. But at the current stage that you're in, is it worth kind of either 1, taking the risk, and 2, bringing on board the 4,000 other headaches that come with a business?
Yeah.
And how was that experience for you actually, like transitioning out of, your role and just every day is just paperwork, speaking to clients, your typical job. And then all of a sudden, bang, register your company, taxes, you got super to pay. Now you got to find and hire staff. Now you got to go through all of that process. What was that journey like, at 40, starting your own business and then bang, exiting like $1 million years into your own business? What was that like?
Yeah, so thankfully this is not my first business.
Yeah.
So I've had businesses before. Had a fashion business before.
You have a fashion business?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was short lived.
Yeah.
Didn't lose any money, but didn't make any money.
Yeah.
So I understood how business works generally.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like an all-in sort of business. Like this is my all-in
business, yeah.
like all-in. I quit my job, everything like all-in business.
Yeah.
And it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like you see me with Rolex now and all that type of stuff. It took me 4.5 years.
Yeah. That's
Right? It's hard work. And the thing is, like, a lot of people don't realize is that you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're first starting off in a business, I think Alex Hormozy says is like you have uninformed optimism.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you don't know, so you kind of think, oh yeah, I'm going to kill it.
Yeah.
That's 12 months.
Yeah. So I killed it in my job. So starting a business should be a fucking piece of cake.
Yeah, that's right. And then you realize, oh shit.
Like,
and then you have informed pessimism.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people quit then.
Yeah.
Right? Because they don't know what's next.
Ups. Yeah.
And then the next phase is having informed optimism.
Yeah.
If you can get through that hump, then you go well.
Yeah.
So I went through exactly the same phase
Yeah.
as Alex Hormozy described.
Yeah.
The first year was all about establishing myself in the market.
Yeah. As an independent.
Yeah. Who do I want to service? Who do I want to look after? Where am I going to get my deals? And all that type of stuff. Like for the first year, I think I made like 400 grand maybe.
Still not bad.
Not bad. Yeah, enough to pay the bills.
Yeah, of course, not
and,
bad.
And all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
In the second year, I think I made 600.
So growing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I started hiring staff and all that.
Yep.
So even though I made 600 top line,
Yeah.
like I was probably like making zero bottom line.
Profit, right?
Yeah, bottom line. But it's hard work. I think the turning point for me was there's a couple of things happened. I think in second year into my business, I think I made a whole heap of mistakes.
Yeah.
And what I mean by mistakes is that I wasn't collecting money up front.
Yes.
Okay, so I was doing deals.
Yeah.
But I don't get paid a commission until like maybe 6 months later.
Yeah.
Right. So it got to a point in my business where I had only $90 left in my personal savings account.
Yeah. And then people are still owing you like 300 grand.
People still owe me 300 grand, whatever.
Yeah.
But that money's not coming in yet.
Yeah.
So I was so stressed out at that time. I mean, obviously I still had my rental properties and things.
Yeah.
But I've depleted because cash flow is so important.
Of
right?
course.
Yeah.
People don't realize how fast a business can destroy your savings. Like they don't realize how fast it can eat up your savings if your cash flow is not strong.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I think the problem with real estate agency is that we earn big checks.
Yeah.
But
infrequent
big checks. And you can look forward to a 50 grand invoice or 100 grand commission, right? But you're not getting it today.
Yeah.
Like you're fucking getting it like 6 months down the track.
Yeah.
So you kind of go, oh fuck.
What do I do for the next 6 months?
What do I do for the next 6 months? Yeah. So one of the pivotal points for me in the business, or like about 2 years into the business, was that I've drained all my cash reserves.
Yeah.
Even though I was doing deals, the cash wasn't coming in.
Yeah.
I was literally down to my last $90 in my personal bank account.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell anybody. I couldn't tell my spouse. I couldn't tell my friends. Like I felt so alone. I felt so desperate.
Yeah.
And that was probably the low point.
Yeah.
Even though the business on face value was doing well.
Looks great. Yeah.
Doing deals.
Yeah.
But it wasn't reflected in my savings.
Yeah.
So the way I got through it was thankfully I had a mate that lent me $5,000.
Yeah.
So I got over. So I got a bit of cash to at least like buy fucking groceries and shit.
Yeah.
And then just out of the blue, one of my clients, I guess he was having a good day.
Yeah.
He just deposited $25,000 in my pay one of the invoices, deposit $25,000.
Yeah.
This was probably like a month later.
Yeah.
And then that was enough for me to then carry through. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was really thankful. And I also paid my friend back the $5,000. But that sort of month or two,
Yeah.
I was stressed out of my mind.
Yeah.
And I think what a lot of, unless you're an entrepreneur or business owner, a lot of people don't realize how lonely
Oh yeah.
the journey is.
Fucking off. And you don't want to tell people too, because it's like a lot of these are big personal struggles. Like going down to your last $90. I've been there as well, right? Like it's, you know, it's crazy because people look on the outside, they go, fuck, you got $1 million business. You must be rich.
Yeah.
You know, but they don't realize that cash flowing and staffing and then taxes and fees and rent and this and that. It's like every day I'm paying invoices. Every day there's just something in your inbox.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's funny because, like I just got paid for a deal
Yeah.
2 days ago. I'm like, oh yes.
Yeah.
And then Friday is my payday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes. And then at the end of Friday, it's like, oh shit, like 80% of it's gone.
Yeah, that's my life every Monday. That's my Mondays every day. When I come into the Mondays, on Mondays, don't fucking talk to me. No one look at me. I'm fucking doing your paychecks right now, all right, motherfuckers?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't talk to me.
Right? Yeah.
No free lunch today. Fuck off. Don't speak to me.
Yeah. So, you know, it's a hard journey,
Yeah.
especially first couple of years. And I think my business started to turn when I hired Alex.
Yeah.
So Alex was my first successful full-time hire.
All right, let's talk about this actually, because we always bitch about this to each other. But like that hiring process, what's it like for you?
If you have the right staff or team members, it will literally transform your business.
I agree.
It's like anything in life. Like if you have the right team, whether you're playing sports, whatever, like it just changes things. And it's so hard to find good people.
I agree.
And it's like, you want to hire good people, then sometimes you can't afford them.
Yeah.
You want to hire good people, and you might want to make sure they stick around. So you got to provide a career path for them. And then sometimes you want to hire good people, but you're not a good enough manager. So you're not using them to their full potential.
Yeah.
Right. So there's all these things, there's all these learning curves, right?
Yeah.
And like before I landed Alex, I think I went through 3 other people.
Yeah.
Crazy story. Like this guy I hired, I'm not gonna name names, but he was probably 25.
Yeah.
And he looked really good on paper.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he had the just
a ChatGPT resume.
yeah, maybe, right? I don't know. But I fired him after I think 7 days or 8 days.
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah.
We have a weekly scheduled meeting.
Yeah.
Monday morning.
Yeah.
He didn't show up.
Okay.
Okay.
He's 25, right?
He's 25.
Yeah. Gen Z's, bro.
he didn't show up. All right. I didn't understand. I just didn't understand the mentality.
Yeah.
He didn't show up. And so I texted him, called him, didn't pick up. I started getting worried. I'm like, fuck, this guy had an accent.
You all right? Yeah.
Is he all right? Like, you know, whatever. 11:30, he text messages me.
Yeah.
2-liner. Sorry, Will. My alarm didn't go off. So I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You're like first week in the job.
Yeah.
You slept through till 11:30.
Yeah.
Like, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I called him and said, hey, like, what happened? Blah, blah. So yeah, he didn't even bother giving me a proper excuse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's put an effort in, you know?
At least put some effort in. Like, make up something.
Yeah.
He just didn't give a shit so much. He's like, I just slept through it.
Yeah.
That means that you don't respect your job. You don't respect my time.
Yeah. Agreed.
So I fired him.
Yeah.
All right. I said, look, I'm sorry. I can't keep you.
And this is for all the Gen Zs out there. Like, for the Gen Zs, don't do that, right? Because I know Gen Zs, they have a habit of ghosting you. They don't talk to you. They don't communicate. And then they expect their world to be the only world. And, you know, everything that they do is correct and, you know, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you go and find a job, like, respect your boss's time, man. Like, they're giving you an opportunity. I think a lot of people don't realize that.
People don't realize that. And what's really funny is that he wrote back to me by email, like a 600-word essay.
About don't fire me.
About why he shouldn't have fired why I shouldn't have fired
Oh,
him,
jeez.
that I should respect him, and that I should hear his side of the story,
Fucking
blah, blah,
petty,
blah,
yeah.
blah, blah, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, wow.
And I just deleted it. Just deleted the fucking email. I just didn't even bother replying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah. So hiring good staff, not just by capability, but you want a good staff that can do what they do, fits in,
Yeah.
understands your long-term vision,
Yeah.
and wants to be part of it, and hardworking.
Yeah.
That's so hard to find.
Absolutely rare. Absolutely
Really rare.
Absolutely.
So when I got Alex on board, I was very lucky. I was very lucky I got him,
Yeah.
and he was a game changer for the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now I've hired several more people, and the team is growing.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's always growing pains, with any
Of
business.
course.
But I think we definitely have a very solid core team now.
Yeah.
And we just need to, just get some runs on the board and get some results.
Yeah. And so yeah, with that being said, like, Property Lines is entering its 5th year now, or going on to its 5th year. First 2 years is always a struggle. I think first 2 or 3 years for a lot of businesses is always a struggle. Well, I think there was a statistic done by the ATO. It's like 97% of small businesses or something fail within the first 3 years, something like that. So the odds are definitely stacked against you. I could probably get fact checked for that somewhere. But a lot of businesses, get smashed, regardless of whatever that percentage is in the first 3 years. And a lot of those businesses will survive from cashies, to be honest. But as the world gets more digital, that's going to get less. More businesses will struggle even more. And I just think business in Australia is very hard in general. A lot of the chips are stacked against us, from hiring, from staffing, from taxes, etc. One of the most highest taxed countries on the planet. Very, very difficult. What would be some of your advice for staffing wise? Like, flip it around. Like, if someone was to apply for a job, what would be the advice for them to be a great staff member? Because before you become a great leader, you have to be a great follower, right?
Yes.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They don't think about that.
Yeah.
So what would be your advice now, going through a couple of hires, being able to identify like who's a stud in your business? Like, what would you give for someone who's probably applying for their next job, or they want to apply for a job where there's a bit of a long-term opportunity for them?
Yeah. So I think people don't realize that it's very competitive out there. It's very competitive. Unless you're exceptionally good at what you do, that people want to hire you left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Like 95% of the workforce, you got to go and get the job. Like, no one's going to come knock on your door and go, "Hey, come work for me."
Yeah.
Unless you're
amazing, right?
Unless you're exceptional.
Yeah.
Right.
But how many applicants do you get for when you put out a job offer? Like, do you go on like Indeed or Seek or whatever, and you put out a JD?
Yeah. So actually, I don't use Seek and all that anymore.
Yeah.
They give me a lot of rubbish.
Yeah, I agree.
I do a LinkedIn.
Okay.
LinkedIn's free.
Yeah.
The last job application, I received about 43 applicants.
Wow. So there you go. Like, I mean, you're 1 in 43. Let's be honest, right? And that's just the resume stage. 1 in 43.
Yeah, that's right.
I put up a job. I put up a job offer the other day. I got 240 applicants. Well, you're 1 in 240. So if you think you're special, you're probably not that special. And I think a lot of people need to realize that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think everyone's special in their own way. But the thing is, you need to be able to demonstrate why you're special upfront.
In the first 15
minutes. Well, not even like before anyone picks up the phone and calls you, you got to demonstrate on paper when you're in your application why.
Yeah.
Okay. So where a lot of applicants fail is they send generic cover letters and generic resumes.
Especially now with ChatGPT, man. Everything is the same, bro. Everyone's got the same about me description.
That's the problem, right? You have ChatGPT. It's so easy to do custom cover letters.
That's right.
Right? Just go to ChatGPT. Hey, can you please write a cover letter for this company that I'm applying to?
Right.
Go look at their website and blah, blah, right?
Yeah.
You get no excuse.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many resumes you get, and it's like, dear hiring manager at the wrong company.
Yeah. Right. So how the hell will someone hire you if you can't even get the first step right?
Literally.
Okay. But I think the point I'm trying to make is, you need to be able to communicate your value, what you bring to the table, upfront.
Yeah.
Not ask someone else to uncover what you have,
Yeah.
because that means you're asking the other person
To do the
to
work.
do the work.
Yeah.
That's right. So anyone who's going for a job right now, right, you have no excuse with ChatGPT and all that to do generic emails, generic cover letters and things like that,
Yeah.
right? Because if you do, that just means that you're just not serious about it.
Yeah, and you're making the employer do the work in trying to figure out what the fuck you're trying to say, which is what a waste of time for
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So I will be spending a few minutes looking at the company's website, just write down 2 or 3 key points of what they do,
Yeah.
and figure out how you can potentially add value to those 2 or 3 points.
Yeah.
Okay. As an example, my last hire is an analyst, property analyst.
Yeah.
In the job description, I basically said, looking for analysts with 2 year or more experience.
Yeah.
Your job is to analyze deals for us and report to the acquisitions manager.
Yeah.
You're going to be really good at Excel and, all your kind of typical things. You work from home, flexible hours, all that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
90% of the applicants I got was just generic, hey, this is me, like hire me, right? The 4 that I actually ended up interviewing actually had a couple of things. One stood out, and one basically said, hey, dear hiring manager, I went through your social media and I really like your approach on
Yeah.
based on my experience and my university degree in property economics,
Yeah.
I feel like I'll be a really good candidate for your business.
Yeah.
For these reasons. And then the reasons I listed was like, I've got 2 years experience in commercial property management.
Yeah.
I have I do my own investments,
Yeah.
which helps my analytical skills and the like all that type of stuff. So he put that in the cover,
Which is fucking great. Like I would like straight up, not even in a second, be like, hey, what's up, bro? Like,
yeah. So I
jump
I actually called him straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't a long-winded cover letter.
Yeah.
But it was straight to the point. But what it
And he
did was,
sold us.
well,
He would
yeah,
sell you. Yeah.
it showed you that you actually put effort into it.
Yes.
And it sold you.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a very, it was like a 20-second read.
Yeah.
Like that cover letter.
Yeah.
Right. Immediately, I knew he did some research on my company.
Yeah.
He knew where his values are.
Yeah.
That he can bring to the table.
Yeah.
And how it will fit potentially.
Yeah.
Into that job description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
I ended up hiring.
Oh, you're not hiring?
I ended up hiring.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Great,
But I interviewed 4 people in total.
Yeah.
Because you never just interview one person.
Of course.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? And he turned out to be exceptional.
Yeah, of course.
Exceptional.
I think you can notice, like, once you interview enough people, you can kind of see who's going to be good, who's kind of looks good at the beginning, and then like they're covered in rust underneath. You can kind of tell.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell nowadays.
Yeah.
And it only gets even more obvious as you're starting to deal with more Gen Zs. I feel like, because a lot of them don't really take it super serious to have any sort of in-depth analytical sort of knowledge. They just everything's so fast for them.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Just a quick story, and I don't want to brag, but
Yeah.
okay. So when I was interviewed by CBRE, I went to CBRE with a presentation.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Of why they should hire you
of what I would do
if you were hired.
if I was there. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I did like a 20 slide presentation.
Ooh.
I did a market analysis on them versus all the competitors. So where
Yeah.
they're positioned in the market.
Yeah.
So their market share.
Yeah.
And identify where the gaps are, where that business can grow.
Yeah.
And what I can bring to the table to grow the business.
Yeah.
Right. I presented that to the CEO.
Yeah.
And the CEO is like, fuck, no one's ever done that.
Yeah.
In his 30 years, sort of,
Being CEO.
being a CEO and all that type of stuff. And then that interview got passed down to all the executive
Yeah.
members of the CBRE team and
Yeah.
say, look, everyone should come to an interview like this, like
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, like, you want to stand out.
Yeah.
You want to stand out.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not the only guy or girl that they're going to interview.
100%.
Yeah.
I think we just got a lot of people don't realize you have to drop your ego because one, you're in a position where you're getting, not giving. And if you're ever in a position where you're getting and you're trying to get the best get, if that makes sense, you should be able to go out there and present yourself differently to a sea of people. Like you can walk anywhere down the middle of George Street in the city, and you'll see 10,000 people in any given moment.
Mm.
What's going to stop? Why would someone stop and ask you a question? Why would someone stop and pick you for that job role? There's just so many people out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's good. Like being part of the 0.01, like for us, it's not about whether or not you're actually the 0.01 of that industry or whatever the field is. It's more about the mentality and the mindset of what it takes to actually create that little minute difference that really sets you apart. And I think having that sort of mentality is very, very important for people who want to actually get ahead. Because like you said, you want to have a good boss, you want to have a good manager, but that starts from the hiring process. If they're looking at your resume and it's a shit resume and they just need a head or they just need a gear in the business, sure, you can just be a gear. But if you stood out, they're going to put so much more attention, energy, and focus and investment into you to make you better as well. Okay, so that's good. Awesome. All right, we'll start to wrap up now. But think about when you're going through that early sort of grind for yourself, what would you say is like the biggest sort of roadblock that you kind of came to? Whether it's transitioning into your business, whether it's like your previous businesses, whether it's like even your corporate career, what was like the biggest roadblock mentally?
Biggest roadblock mentally
Yeah.
was not believing I deserved it.
Oh,
Okay, so this is a little bit
okay.
deep, right?
Wow.
This is going back.
Okay.
So I think a lot of people has been conditioned to believe they don't deserve things in life.
Who
Okay.
do you think conditioned you?
Parents, not me,
Okay. Yeah.
but I think a lot of people. I mean, probably parents as well,
Yeah.
right? I think parents is so important because I think for me now, retrospectively looking back, because my dad wasn't around, my mom and I was fighting a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I didn't feel like I deserved,
Interesting.
right, to be where I should be,
Yeah.
right? And I think a lot of people go through that. Not just parents; it could be just people in your ear, your teachers, your peers, whatever, right? I know I was smart.
Yeah.
I am very capable, but because I didn't believe, and this is retrospective, right? I didn't realize, I didn't understand all of this.
Yeah.
But now I'm looking back. Now I'm 45. I'm looking back at my 30s or my 20s, or
Yeah.
when I first started my business. The mental roadblock was like, I don't deserve to be making $2 million a year. I don't deserve to be making $5 million a year because of whatever fucking bullshit reason
Yeah.
you're thinking of,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which then prohibits you from taking the next step.
Mm.
I'll give a really good example. As you know, I'm really into fitness, and I was and I had a online coaching business,
Yeah.
teaching people how to lose weight and all type of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. The biggest obstacle from all my weight loss clients was that they think they don't deserve to be fit and healthy.
That's crazy.
Right. And you will probably experience the same with your sort of experience, right?
Yeah.
When you're coaching people. So it's like they logically understand what needs to be done. Okay.
Right.
You need to control your calories, you need to exercise, you need to sleep well, drink well, all those things. People understand, and it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Right. But because they don't believe they deserve it, they self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Right. They'll just won't follow through. They won't do this, do this, do this. And then that self-doubt can stem from many places. It could be from, I don't know, childhood traumas, divorce, or like whatever. I think in my case, retrospectively looking back at it, it was just that I didn't have that stability during the high school years.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure what a solid foundation looks like. And I kind of like, oh, well, yeah, I'm good, but yeah, should I really, go for it? And it's like just a stupid conversation in your head.
Yeah.
Right. So I think my corporate career, I did really well because I was just smart.
Yeah.
I was able to just handle problems, solve problems, and I was able to grow the department because I was just smart.
Yeah.
But if I had actually believed in myself more, I reckon I would have doubled.
Do you reckon?
I think
Wow.
I'm positive
Wow.
because there's a lot of things that I didn't do.
Like risks?
Risk I didn't take.
Yeah.
And people didn't go meet.
Mm,
Yeah, he's a thing. He's a funny story.
interesting.
This is just last week.
Yeah.
I got approached by I won't name the name, but basically what they do is they're a platform for other business owners.
Yeah.
To get together and help each other grow the business.
Yeah.
I can refer them to you later on.
Yeah.
Offline.
Yeah.
And the idea is they'll pair people into like group of 10 to 12.
Yep.
All business owners from all different cycles of the business. Some people making 500K, some people making 500 million.
Fuck.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And the idea is like it's a peer-to-peer group.
Yeah.
So it's not coaching.
Yeah.
It's like
It's just like a mastermind networking group
it's a
kind of.
mastermind group. Like anyway. So I got invited to one of their events.
Yeah.
With the view of becoming one of their board members.
Okay.
To be part of the group.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, that's cool because that's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Because like I want to grow my business. Like I
Of
want
course.
other entrepreneurs to
Yeah.
help me out and be part of the group. It feels good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The morning of the meeting.
Yeah.
In my mind, I was like, oh, I can't be bothered going.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered meeting all these people.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, I don't need it.
Yeah.
Like, and when I analyze my thoughts, this was me again telling myself subconsciously,
Yeah.
you don't deserve to have a group of peers that's going to support you.
Yeah. And literally we just talked about how lonely it feels to be in business. And then all of a sudden the opportunity drops onto your lap. You can be surrounded by these successful 12 people. And you're like, I don't need I don't need I'm good.
Yeah, that's right. So I caught myself thinking like that.
That's crazy. That's awareness that people don't have.
Yeah. So I was thankful I had the awareness that morning and I went, nah, fuck, I need to go.
Yeah.
At least I need to go check it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess like to answer your question in a really roundabout way, the biggest mental roadblock or mindset roadblock is just having that self-doubt and not believing that you deserve it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people struggle with that. And another name for it is like imposter syndrome.
Yep.
You know, I think every business owner, every successful person deals with that.
Yeah.
Whether you're Michael Jordan on the come up.
Yep.
Right. You kind of go, I know I'm really good.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything to prove it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you start doubting. I mean, Michael Jordan probably never doubted himself, but you know.
Yeah.
So I think if I had eliminated a lot of that earlier on in my career, or even the first few years of my business, I think my business right now will be probably double where it is right now.
Right.
Yeah, because I didn't take that step. I didn't take that meeting.
Yeah.
To meet that person.
Yeah.
I didn't pursue that funnel.
Yeah.
I didn't build my website.
Yeah.
I was procrastinating. Like, all those things.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like, do I need to spend this money? Should I go meet this person? Am I bothered? Do I really deserve this? And I think a lot of people have these like little voices in their head.
Yeah.
And it just fucking eats away at them, man. It's really bad.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I think I've got very good awareness now, but every now and then that voice is going to come back.
Yeah.
You know, I think
it happens to the best of us. I'm sure Jeff Bezos probably still has it. I don't know about Elon Musk. That guy's like a robot, but I'm sure there are people out there that will still get those. Doesn't matter if you're the richest, man on the planet, but people will always, especially, I mean, like, look at how many people that become successful end up in the limelight. There's so many people out there that have to go through it, and you're under criticism from everyone. Like, it's not hard to sit here and go, well, fuck, if they're doubting me, do I doubt myself? And I think that happens, to a lot of people. But I mean, like, let's think about like life, right? Life is full of cheat codes, and that's what 0.01 is also about, is like, finding out these secret cheat codes that, we all have found. It's just like, back in the day when we used to play GTA or whatever, and there's like all these cheat codes. You get invincibility, you summon the fighter jet or whatever, right? There's all these cheat codes in life because life is a game. We all know that, life is a massive, massive sandbox game that we're playing. What would be one cheat code that you can think of that you kind of uncovered for yourself in your 20 plus, almost 30-year career that you think if you were to go back to the 20-year-old Will, that would help you half the time, but double the results?
Buy Bitcoin.
But
Buy Bitcoin when it was like
buy Bitcoin when it was $100.
1 cent. No, not even. Yeah. Buy Bitcoin was less than $100.
That's a very special cheat code.
That's fair. Yeah. Just like don't touch it for like the next 20 years. Yeah, never sell. Just
Never sell.
hodl.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think if I was able to have a conversation with my 25-year-old self,
Yeah.
I think at that time,
Yeah.
I would say work harder.
But what way? Like how can you work harder? Were you like doing only like 6-hour days, 8-hour days? Were you like kind of, bludging here and there? What do you mean by work harder?
So I think so back to what I was saying previously, like I was very smart.
Yeah.
So I was able to outsmart my way through a lot of problems and my career. If I had worked a little bit harder and believing in myself through hard work, because I think the funny thing is, like, the only way you get over self-doubt is by actually doing
Correct.
what you doubt yourself on. Like if you say, oh, I doubt I can run 100 meters in 10 seconds. The only way you can eliminate that doubt is actually fucking do it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think now that I understand how things work, I will probably go back to my 25-year-old self and go, hey, look, don't overthink, just put in the work, because when you put in the work, you'll be able to show yourself that you can actually do it. And you would know, you eliminate that level of self-doubt.
Yeah.
And that would then just translate into bigger results, better results, more.
So essentially just do it.
Just do it.
Like Nike says, right?
Just do it, like Nike said.
Yeah, I mean, but that's crazy. I think that's so important. I think a lot of people don't realize confidence comes from the doing. It doesn't come from the thinking.
Yes.
And in fact, the more you think, the more you fear. And I think that's something that people don't realize. So
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, the more you do, even though it might seem scary, actually becomes less scary. So that pretty much wraps us up for today. Today, we have been with our good friend, Will Tong. All right, this is episode 3 of 0.01. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. He's definitely someone that exhibits this 0.01 mindset. And I know business is only getting better. It's going to be a booming year, and I wish you the very best for everything as well, Will. But for all the people that are out there who might even want some help with commercial property, actually, I haven't even plugged him in whatever he does. But, Will is the owner of Property Alliance. He's a commercial strategist and commercial buyer's agent who will help you with your commercial property journey. So if anyone out there is looking for some help in commercial property and building their portfolio, Will's got his 5 crazy strategies. But where do people find you? Like, what's the plug? Where do we find you?
Well, I think the best place to find me is either on social media or on our website.
Yeah.
So our website is www.propertyalliance.com.au.
Yeah.
And then my social media is just Will_Tong.
Yeah. Pretty much on all platforms?
On all platforms.
Fantastic.
Except for X.
X, yeah, whatever. Don't worry about X.
Twitter, whatever.
Twitter, yeah. Well, that's us for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and feel free to reach out to Will. All of the show notes and descriptions will be down below anyway. And we'll see you on the next episode. I hope you have enjoyed that episode of 0.01. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow along on all our socials at 0.01 Podcast to watch all of the shorts again. We release an episode every single week, and we hope you will join us as we continue to explore the minds of those who make up the 0.01%. Until next time, keep hustling. I'm your host, Alan Fu. I'll see you on the next episode.